Now at 9, how the city of Joplin plans to proceed after Proposition Public Safety is rejected by voters.
FBI Director Christopher Wray faces a grilling on Capitol Hill. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on his testimony and what he says the biggest threats are in the U.S. coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Authorities in Oklahoma have identified a body found along I-44 near the Miami exit last week. Authorities say the body is that of 53-year-old Richard Ackley of Chelsea, Oklahoma. An autopsy determined Ashley died from being hit by a vehicle. Investigators say the driver did not stop or even report the incident. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol and Quapaw Nation Marshal Service are trying to identify what vehicle was involved. Grove, Oklahoma woman is charged with aggravated trafficking fentanyl. In May, investigators received a tip that Julie Wise was dealing large amounts of fentanyl pills from her home. After stopping a vehicle leaving Wise's home for making an illegal U-turn, police found her in possession of 200 pills. The 30-year-old admitted that since March, she's purchased about 1,000 pills, selling for $30 each. Wise is also charged with possession of a firearm after a felony conviction and unlawful use of a telecommunications facility. Meteorologist Doug Heddy joining us now. I'm no expert, but I would venture to say we got some rain, yeah, but we could use a lot more.
Yeah, most areas got a quarter to a half an inch of rain, which is good, but yes, we could use a lot more. And it kept our temps down just a little bit today, 94, 72, record high 107. So we didn't get above 100, which is good news. Pretty clear out there right now, just ground clutter around the radar. But most of the Central Plains, quiet, not a whole bunch going on. Still warm. We're sitting into the mid 80s across the region. By morning, we'll drop back to about 74, but we approach 100 again tomorrow afternoon. We're going to look down the road into the weekend here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thank you so much. City of Joplin is considering its next steps after the failure of Proposition Public Safety this week. That proposal was to fund new wage scales for the police and fire departments through a property tax hike. City Manager Nick Edwards says listening to and understanding what voters want is the next step.
There was a lot of different concerns and different ideas that were posted and discussed as part of the lead up to that election, and so fully understanding that feedback and working on a plan to continue to improve our public safety services is what we'll do next.
Edwards says the city is going to have to make plans that voters ultimately approve. Human trafficking is an ongoing battle throughout the world. In Joplin, Survivor Care Director Angie Brower recently presented to UN delegates on the topic, and local police are also regularly training. KOAM's Untitled takes a look at what experts around the world and locally are learning.
It's not a movie scenario. These are real-world victims and are oftentimes victimized by someone they know.
These are my friends, and maybe even their trafficker pretended to be their boyfriend. That happens a lot. And they get these young women to fall in love with them. And if you would just do this for me, then this many times, then you and I can go make a life together. You won't have to do this forever. And that is how they get drawn in.
This is why young girls may get very attached to their traffickers. And getting out from it may not be as easy as you would think because of the place of trauma. One tool after a victim is found is assessment of survivor outcomes. Brower says it evaluates what can help the victim move past trauma and continue their life.
We want to look at things like, what's their assertiveness ability like? Are they able to find their voice and speak up for themselves? Do they understand now what it looks like when someone is manipulating you? Or are they likely to step back into a situation that could be very dangerous for them?
From there, the goal is to get the victim to a safer and better life. And while Brower helps those local and worldwide, police in Joplin works to ensure their community stays safe.
We're trained to investigate the case, find the crime, get the victim out of that situation, and then put the bad guys in jail.
Police Sergeant Andy Blair helps train other law enforcement.
Letting people know that it's not okay in our city, that we're not going to have it here, and we're going to keep fighting it.
In Joplin, Janna Hautala, KOAM News.
A national hotline helps survivors of human trafficking, also provides information on the issue. You can get a link to that number on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, yesterday we told you about a partnership between the SEK Humane Society and Paw Prints on the Heartland Ending after 22 years, it ended because they couldn't agree to terms on a new lease agreement. The Humane Society declined to comment yesterday, but today released a statement. The statement says in part that, quote, it became apparent that the property being occupied by paw prints was not being adequately insured or maintained. In order for the Humane Society to legally protect the organization as a whole, it was advised to require a standard written commercial lease agreement by paw prints, end quote. The disagreement resulted in paw prints being evicted. You can find the Humane Society's full statement, full story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Senate Democrats say they have a deal on a bill which would reduce the deficit, also invest in clean energy. But once again, there is one member in their party who could throw this whole deal off. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has the latest on the story from Washington.
All eyes in Congress are on one senator, Kyrsten Sinema, wondering if she will support a Democratic-led bill that the Senate leader wants a vote on before August recess.
I expect we'll have some late nights, and in the end, we're going to make good on our word to pass the Inflation Reduction Act.
It was a deal struck between moderate Senator Joe Manchin and Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. It's similar to the unsuccessful Build Back Better bill. This one has a smaller price tag, a more narrow set of initiatives, and contains fewer taxes on corporations and the wealthiest.
This is the strongest bill you can pass to lower inflation, continue to cut the deficit, reduce healthcare costs, tackle the climate crisis, and promote America's energy security.
Republicans are against the bill. They say it will do the opposite of its title and make inflation worse. Democrats want to use reconciliation, so there will be an opportunity for lawmakers to suggest amendments. GOP senators will likely force votes on sticky issues for Democrats, like immigration and border security.
I would dare any of our Democrat colleagues to walk up to a working-class American on the street and ask them what the government ought to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on. Americans want lower prices. They want border security.
Leader Schumer said senators better get ready for a weekend of work. He's planning to begin procedural votes on the bill Saturday afternoon. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
Now, this evening, Senator Kyrsten Sinema said in a statement she had agreed to changes in the measure's tax and energy provisions and was ready to, quote, move forward on this bill. FBI Director Christopher Wray in the hot seat on Capitol Hill today, taking questions on a range of issues. His hearing coming in the wake of several mass shootings here in the U.S. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera is in Washington with the highlights of his testimony.
I feel like every day I'm getting briefed on somebody throwing a Molotov cocktail at someone for some issue. Yeah. It's crazy.
The challenges never stop for FBI Director Christopher Wray. But during a Senate Judiciary hearing Thursday, Wray told a panel of lawmakers tackling violent crime is his agency's main priority.
Our fundamental duty is to make sure Americans can feel safe and secure in their own communities.
The rise in violent crime in major cities and the latest string of mass shootings from Buffalo to Uvalde come as the FBI also warns of an increase in domestic violent extremism. Earlier this month, Wray said the agency has seen an uptick on attacks against pro-life pregnancy centers in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade.
You don't get to use violence or threats of violence to act on it, and we're going to go after that conduct aggressively.
Some lawmakers say the spike in threats, partly fueled by a highly polarized political climate, is tougher to tackle now.
The dual threats of domestic terrorism and hate crimes are heightened by easy access to firearms in America, especially deadly assault weapons.
But Wray is also facing criticism from Republicans. They accuse the FBI of discounting derogatory information in the probe into Hunter Biden's finances and overseas business dealings.
We'll have to explain to the committee and to the country how you'll manage this mess and how you'll clean house.
Director Wray also identified China as the United States' biggest international threat, saying the FBI is constantly taking on China's espionage campaign against the U.S. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Don Goody has served in the U.S. Air Force. Native of Parsons, Kansas, Goody has received numerous awards, and we are proud to thank Ensign Tech Sergeant Don Goody, tonight's four-state hero. Doug Getty's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later the St. Louis Cards headed to London next summer. Details in sports.
Well, of course, it was a little bit cooler for us today. Still hot, mid-90s for highs, but we had some scattered showers and thunderstorms in the region during the morning hours, which we greatly needed. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, just outside west side of Seneca, Missouri. All right, not a lot of rain, but some rain. Some is better than none. About 1/4 of an inch at the airport in Joplin. That's where we sit. For the month, for the year, we are at 29.5 inches. The heat really kicks back in, especially this weekend. Some rain chances early next week and may drop our temps just a hair. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. All right, mid-80s for us right now, so it is still warm. It's 85. Easterly winds are light. Humidity is at 65%, so it still feels like 91 degrees across the region. The humidity was a little bit higher for us today, but at least we got some rain. In here earlier today, you can see this batch kind of dropping south and east. Most of this was out of here by 9 or 10 o'clock, and then of course sunshine during the afternoon. Nothing's going on now. The entire Central Plains pretty much on the dry side. We still have this big dome of high pressure out across southwest, which is dominating our weather, and what this does is it shoves the jet stream way up to the north. All the big storm systems, they like to hang out along the jet stream. So if it's up there, we don't get any big storm systems, and that's sadly pretty typical for the summer months. All right, let's go through time. Mid-70s as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. About 74 to start the day. I think we'll warm up quickly through the 80s. Mid-90s by noon. High temp right around 99 as we head into the afternoon hours. So we're going to push 100. Once again, there could be an isolated thunderstorm out across southwestern Missouri. Most of you are going to stay dry. Heat indices are also going to be up there. I think it's going to feel like, oh gosh, probably 105 or so as we go into tomorrow afternoon. A few isolated thunderstorms try to pop up tomorrow night, especially in our southern counties. So this is late tomorrow night. Some isolated thunderstorms through Saturday morning. And then anything that does pop up will move out of here. Then we'll heat up near 100 again as we head into Saturday. Heat indices the next 2 days right around 105 degrees. Sunday's going to be hot, but we do get another weak cold front that slides in on Monday, giving us some chances for some showers and thunderstorms early next week. 99 tomorrow, 100 on Saturday, 99 on Sunday, 97 on Monday. We hold into the mid-90s, and then back near 100 late next week.
Man, just think about fall, okay? That'll put you in a better mood.
Yeah, we're only about 6 weeks away.
It's probably still going to be hot, though, isn't it?
It'll start cooling down once we get closer to December.
All right. Thank you for that awesome piece of news, Doug Eddy. All right. Coming up, possible life behind bars.
The feds charge 4 officers involved in the Breonna Taylor investigation. I'm David Spunt in Washington. Details coming up.
Alex Jones is ordered to pay $4.1 million in compensatory damages to the parents of a 6-year-old boy who was killed during the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. The InfoWars founder is being held responsible after repeatedly claiming the 2012 mass shooting was a hoax. Jones has since taken back the claim, admitted the shooting was real, but only after families, members of victims report receiving death threats from Jones's followers. The jury will next decide how much Jones will pay in punitive damages. 2 former, 2 current Louisville police officers could face life behind bars after the Justice Department alleged they violated Breonna Taylor's civil rights. Fox News correspondent David Spunt has more from D.C.
Breonna Taylor should be alive today.
A federal grand jury indicted 4 officers for their roles in the Breonna Taylor investigation. The Justice Department charged 2 current Louisville police officers and 2 who were fired after the shooting with multiple violations of federal law. It all stems from the March 2020 killing of Taylor during a botched drug raid.
Those alleged crimes include civil rights offenses, unlawful conspiracies, unconstitutional use of force, and obstruction offenses.
Taylor was shot to death after officers knocked down her door without identifying themselves. Her boyfriend fired a shot and police returned fire, hitting Taylor several times. Now the feds say the warrant used to justify that raid was full of falsified information, including a claim that police had verified the drug dealer's address with the U.S. Postal Service, which, according to the DOJ, turned out to be a lie.
The affidavit falsely claimed that officers had verified that the target of the alleged drug trafficking operation had received packages at Ms. Taylor's address.
Taylor's death and the perceived lack of accountability led to violent protests in 2020. Taylor's family says today's development is a step in the right direction, but more needs to be done to hold police accountable.
Y'all learning what we've been saying was the truth, that they shouldn't have been there and that Breonna didn't deserve that.
All 4 men could face life in prison for alleged violations of Breonna Taylor's civil rights. In Washington, David Spunt, Fox News.
And still ahead, baby formula shortages continue, albeit not as bad as before, but the government promising even more progress. Researchers say they've discovered a better way to get whiter teeth. The American Chemical Society developed a new hydrogel that creates brighter teeth. The new process contains bismuth, copper, and sodium in a thick mixture. The teeth are sprayed by a calcium solution to form a strong gel. The mixture is then activated by green light. The process works on stained teeth without harming enamel. The gel also kills 94% of bacteria. Walmart remaining the world's largest company based on revenue. Fortune magazine's annual survey finding that the Arkansas-based retail giant tops the Fortune Global 500 list for the 9th year in a row and for the 17th time since it began ranking companies by the size in 1995. The Saudi Aramco oil company reclaimed its title as the world's most profitable company with $105 billion in earnings. Baby formula shortages continue in the face of federal initiatives meant to combat the crisis, but the White House says more help is on the way. This is the Biden administration announces another shipment of formula from overseas expected soon. Fox News' Steve Rappaport has the latest numbers, plus a look at which states are experiencing some of the highest out-of-stock rates.
This has not gone away.
The nationwide baby formula shortage is far from over. While shelves aren't as bare as they were a few months ago, new data from market research company Information Resources Incorporated reveals for the week ending July 24th, roughly 20% of all types of baby formula products were completely out of stock, with the out-of-stock rate for powdered formula nearing 30%.
It has been such a struggle.
Researchers also found the states with some of the highest out-of-stock rates include Arkansas with more than 42%, Kansas with more than 36%, Utah with more than 35%, Colorado with 35%, and Minnesota with more than 34% of formula products out of stock.
We do understand that there's a lot more work to do.
The White House on Wednesday announcing plans for another Operation Fly Formula mission, allowing formula that meets U.S. health and safety standards to be flown in from overseas. Back in May, President Biden first invoked Operation Fly Formula and the Defense Production Act to help address the shortage. Since then, the mission has brought the equivalent of 64 million 8-ounce bottles of formula into the country. But parents are still facing massive hurdles.
I had to start pumping again every 2 hours around the clock. And I've now been breastfeeding for an additional 6 months that I wasn't planning on breastfeeding.
Abbott Nutrition, which runs one of the nation's largest formula manufacturing plants, shuttered operations back in February after concerns of bacterial contamination. The shutdown primarily fueling the shortage, but Abbott has since resumed production of some of its formulas. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
All right, so we have the World Series, we have the Stanley Cup. Next, though, I think this tops them all. Visit Scotland for their National Tree Hugging Championship. Some people in Scotland took their love for nature to a new level. The inaugural Scottish Tree Hugging Championship was held late last month. Since then, the video of the event has been circulating online. Contestants were evaluated by judges on their speed, dedication, and style of hugging. Yeah, their style, as well as who could hold their poses the longest. More than 25 people participated in the championship, which was double what organizers were expecting. Now, here's the deal. I don't want to make anyone mad. Okay, there's enough stuff out in the world to make people mad, right? If you do prefer to hug trees, God bless you. But I think we would all agree that the video was funny, right? It was cute. Sometimes things go wrong even at the most magical place on earth. A video being shared on social media shows a long line of boats at Disney World's It's a Small World. One boat right there, take a close look, appears to be slowly sinking into the water. Video is captioned, "We were stuck for over an hour." The torture. Now let's think about this. Over an hour listening to, you know the song, It's a Small World. I've been on that ride. I don't have any problems with it, but playing the music for an hour seems like, an interrogation technique, Tell me the truth or else play the music. Play the music. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Going to check out this year's Marion Days event happening in Carthage, Missouri. Also, going to hear about a new spot at Missouri Southern for students to hang out, just relax. Marion Days, back in Carthage. The annual festival has drawn tens of thousands of Vietnamese Catholics every year through 2019. It was canceled, however, the last 2 years because of COVID. KOAM's Amber Jenkins attended this year's event.
It was a pain because it was like 6 hours. I was just sitting in the car, but it's all right. It's worth coming here.
Brennan has been to 5 Marion Days celebrations. He's excited that Marion Days is back because of the praise and worship at night is a sight to see.
Oh, praise and worship at night, it hits different because you see like a lot of multiple bands just singing and it gets you,
This celebration is more than just fun. Marion Days recharges Brandon's faith.
Recharge your faith back, Doing this, it brings your faith more and more,
Brandon's faith is important to him. In today's world, faith is all you got.
Because we see the world right now, there's a lot of chaos and stuff, and we just have to be grateful for what we have until you never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Celebration lasts until Sunday, and of course, as many of us know, the celebration is open to the public. Joplin-based Breastfeeding Group is holding an event to celebrate National Breastfeeding Week. Chi Chi Mamas is an online Facebook group with over 3,000 members. Going to be holding a breastfeeding celebration this Saturday at 10:30 at Joplin's Senior Center.
To bring everybody together and to show them, that we definitely do support breastfeeding. Here in Missouri, about 80% of all moms start breastfeeding, and we just like to keep that up.
The group is also going to meet quarterly at the Joplin Health Department starting in November. Missouri Southern's Webster Hall getting a colorful student hangout. The space that was formerly used for storage is now becoming a new spot for students to relax between classes, something that's important, The Department of Art and Design Administration and participants in MSSU's Leadership Academy are creating a floor-to-ceiling mural on 2 walls adjacent to the main staircase.
We thought, it'd be great if we could clean up a space for students to hang out in. And so this is the building we gravitated towards. And as we wanted to kind of push the boundaries of what we were doing, we thought, it'd be really cool if we could get a mural.
A local furniture store is donating all the furniture for Webster Hall's new student corner. Today is the first Thursday of August, meaning it's time for another art walk in downtown Joplin. One of the businesses taking part was Club 609. They presented work by artist couple Jim and Diana Bray through a show called The Vanishing Landscape. Jim uses acrylics and Diana uses 3D abstracts.
Those areas that I grew up around, kind of stayed with me. And I've been always interested in the old wooden houses, barns, and all of the things that were left by the people who migrated into that area.
There are only a few art walks left. October is the last month to attend this year. Well, Joplin school district officials are putting the word out about a change at the state level, making it easier to become certified as a substitute teacher. Now in Missouri, it only takes 36 college credit hours to become certified, where previously it took 60. There's also a 20-hour online training course that you can take. Joplin officials are hoping this new change is going to encourage more people to apply ahead of the upcoming school year. As monkeypox continues to spread quickly across the U.S., the Biden administration is hoping to put those thoughts at ease by putting forth a plan to contain the virus. So far, more than 600,000 vaccines have been sent across the country, with even more on the way. Fox's Steve Rappaport has the update.
We plan to be responsive leaders, focusing on tackling this with the urgency this moment warrants. And today, the key actions we are announcing will allow us to further accelerate these efforts.
The Biden administration declares monkeypox a public health emergency.
Since May 18th, there have been more than 6,600 new confirmed cases in the U.S. So far, the virus has been identified in nearly every state. And with cases on the rise, the federal government is ramping up its response.
There's definitely a shortage supply. We are in a race. The manufacturer has been given marching orders to have more millions of doses available.
Within the last week, California, Illinois, and New York all declared a public health emergency. Officials in those states saying they need help keeping up with the demand as lines continue to grow.
I'm just so happy I got it because, I don't know, after going through COVID, I don't want to be susceptible to anything else that could hurt me and also disfigure my face or body.
While some states are doing their part to get everyone vaccinated, others are taking a more targeted approach. In states like Florida and Minnesota, only those who have been exposed to the virus are eligible to get the monkeypox vaccine. The Sunshine State is now fourth in the nation for infections.
We have heard from individuals who have had their appointments for the monkeypox vaccine canceled unexpectedly right before they were supposed to go in because they were not eligible.
The CDC says the U.S. is leading nations in monkeypox cases with more than 6,300 confirmed so far. In New York, Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
A bit later, a sentence handed down.
WNBA star Brittany Griner learns her fate in a Russian courtroom. I'm Amy Kellogg in Milan. Details coming up.
Well, of course, it turned out to still be a hot day for us today, but a little bit better than what we have seen over the past couple days, which is always good news. We had a nice sunset at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. All right, rainfall. Only about 1/4 inch in Joplin. Better than none. For the month, just shy of 3/10 of an inch. And it looks like the heat's going to increase again as we head into the weekend. Some rain chances early next week, and that may drop our temperature a hair. If you want to get the long-range forecast, you can go to my month-long blog. That is KOAM newsnow.com. Still warm. Most of us mid to upper 80s. Southeastern parts of Kansas, we can look outside. 7th and range line sitting at 85. Easterly winds at about 5 miles per hour. There's not a whole bunch going on after this batch of rain. At least we got it during the morning hours, but still, we didn't get a ton of rain. Some areas picked up a 1/2 inch to an inch, even a little bit more than that. Nothing going on now. This is all ground clutter being picked up on the local radars, but really most of the Central Plains pretty quiet. Still dominated, huge dome of high pressure, keeping us pretty much hot. In general, dry. We can't get any big storm systems in here because the jet stream's way up into Canada. This is where the storm systems like to hang out. So until it shifts south, we're not going to get any big storm systems into the region, which kind of stinks. All right, as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight, we'll drop back into the mid-70s. We'll start at 74 as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Quick warm up through the 70s, 80s, mid-90s by noon. I think most of us will top out right around 100. So it's going to be another hot one. There are going to be some areas that do hit 100. Southeastern Kansas, also northeastern parts of Oklahoma. As we go into tomorrow night, a few isolated little thunderstorms may try to pop up, especially late tomorrow night into Saturday morning. So here's 6 a.m. You can see these isolated little thunderstorms through the morning hours. Hopefully, they'll be a little bit more numerous, and then I think most of these will fizzle out and disappear by the time we head into Saturday afternoon. And again, high temperatures are going to be right around 100 degrees as we go into Saturday afternoon. We'll drop back into the mid-70s again Saturday night. Heat and seas are going to be up there tomorrow. I think it's going to feel, the way it's going to feel to your skin, about 105 degrees during the afternoon. And if we look down the road, we do actually get another cold front that's going to slide in by the time we head into Monday. So this will give us chances for showers and thunderstorms once again, which we could use. 99 tomorrow, 100 Saturday, 99 on Sunday, 97 on Monday, 95 on Tuesday. Some scattered thunderstorms Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but the heat really increases late next week into next weekend. So no big relief break inside.
Oh, man. All right, so real quickly, you're from the Kansas City area. Mm-hmm. You're a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the Chicago area. I'm a big Cubbies fan. This next tease has some good and bad news in it.
Okay.
All right. Coming up in sports, Two-time Pro Bowl selection Carlos Dunlap hits the practice field for the first time in a Chiefs uniform. Going to hear from him on the decision to join those Chiefs. Plus, the St. Louis Cards aim for the sweep against the rival Cubs. Jay Leonard has that and more next.
The Pittsburgh American Legion baseball team is playing in the Mid-South Regional Tournament in Birmingham, Alabama this week. The Post 64 lost their opener yesterday, so today they face elimination against Shelby County, Alabama. Now, Pittsburgh started fast in this one, scoring 9 runs in the first inning today. They go on to win 11-0. Caden Harrison goes 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs for Pittsburgh. Now, Post 64 will be back in action tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Major League Baseball announces today that the St. Louis Cardinals will play a pair of games in London next summer. Now, the Cards will play a 2-game set against the Chicago Cubs at London Stadium on June 24th and 25th next year. It's going to be just the second time Major League Baseball has had a regular season game in Europe. The Red Sox and Yankees played in London back in 2019. Now, as part of the league's international series, there will also be games in Japan and Mexico in the next few years. Sticking with the Cardinals and Cubs, they're actually in the middle of a series right now. The two teams finish up a 3-game series this afternoon with a doubleheader after Game 2 was rained out last night. Now, here's Game 1 today. Cardinals aiming for their 3rd straight win and 5th win in the last 6 games. The Cardinals go down early on the Wilson Contreras home run. They were down 3-0 at one point, but in the 7th, here comes St. Louis. Nolan Gorman connects and takes this one out for the solo shot. His 12th of the season. It's 3-1. Next batter, Paul Goldschmidt, gets one of his own. It's his 26th on the year. It's now just a 1-run game. We'll skip to the bottom of the 9th now. 3-3, Cards with runners on 1st and 2nd. Lars Nootbaar gonna be the hero. Base hit to right. Nolan Arenado scores the winning run. Walk-off single for Lars Nootbaar. Cardinals take Game 1 4-3. So in Game 2, the Cardinals trying to sweep the day and the series. That game actually still going with St. Louis leading 7-2 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tyler O'Neill is 1 for 3 for St. Louis with a 3-run home run. Now, switching over to the American League, the Kansas City Royals welcome in the Boston Red Sox tonight for Game 1 of a 4-game series. The Royals enter the night having lost back-to-back games and 7 of their last 9. That one's in the bottom of the 7th. Kansas City leads at 7-3. Another big night for Salvador Perez. He's 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Well, Carlos Dunlap got on the field today at training camp for the first time in a Chiefs uniform. The Chiefs signed the veteran defensive end last Thursday to a 1-year deal. Dunlap spoke to the media after practice about getting to St. Joe and why Kansas City was where he chose to be after 13 years in the NFL.
I wanted to make sure I made an educated decision and went with a team, where, there was, mutual interest in, my ability to play and how I would be used and the opportunity to win. Because at this point, I've done a lot of football. One of the things I have not done is, I haven't got over 100 sacks, I haven't won a playoff game, and I haven't clearly won a Super Bowl. So those are things that I would like to do at this point in my career, and I'm in hot pursuit, and I feel like this team gives me a great opportunity, the best opportunity to do it.
And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after the break.
American basketball player Brittany Griner learning her fate in a Russian courtroom today. The judge handed down a decision as U.S. officials are working to secure her release still. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Amy Kellogg has more.
Love my family.
American basketball star Brittany Griner taken away in handcuffs after being sentenced to 9 years in a Russian prison on Thursday. A judge found her guilty of possessing and smuggling illegal drugs.
This is a miscarriage of justice.
Griner remained stoic as she listened to the verdict from a defendant's cage. Earlier, she addressed the court saying she'd had no intention of breaking the law.
I want to apologize to my teammates, my club, Gemka, the fans, and the city of ECAT for my mistake that I made and the embarrassment that I brought onto them.
Griner's sentence comes 5 months after her arrest at a Moscow airport when authorities say they found cartridges with cannabis oil in her luggage. Her attorneys maintain Griner used the substance for medicinal purposes, and they say that it was packed accidentally. They now plan to appeal the judge's decision.
She's very upset, very stressed, and she is, well, she can hardly talk, honestly.
President Biden called Griner's sentence, quote, unacceptable, and called on Russia to immediately release the 31-year-old. U.S. officials urged Moscow to accept a proposal that could bring both Griner and former Marine Paul Whelan home.
This trial just reaffirms what we have been saying all along, that Brittany has been wrongfully detained, and she needs to be immediately released by Russian authorities.
In Russia, less than 1% of criminal defendants are acquitted. In Milan, Amy Kellogg, Fox News.
All right, going to find out about a Joker sequel in the works. Hollywood Nation coming your way. Selena Gomez heads back to the kitchen. A popular DC villain plans his return, and more. Fox's Ashton Dvorkin has the latest in the Hollywood Nation.
All right, you guys ready? Gomez keeps cooking, The White Lotus reopens, and the clown prince of crime gets a date in the Hollywood Nation.
All I have are negative thoughts.
The Joker is heading back to the big screen in 2 years. The sequel to Todd Phillips' billion-dollar blockbuster, Joker: Folie à Deux, will arrive in theaters October 4th, 2024. Joaquin Phoenix is expected to reprise his role as the DC villain.
Welcome to the White Lotus.
A new group of vacationers will check into the White Lotus this fall. HBO announced the second season will premiere in October. The series will be set in a different location, this time in Sicily, Italy, with Jennifer Coolidge as the only returning cast member from season 1. They just want to get out there and play. Freaks. Another series making a comeback, Disney Plus's sports drama, The Mighty Ducks Game Changers. Season 2 debuts on September 28th. The new episodes follow Lauren Graham as Coach Alex Morrow and her youth hockey team attending a summer hockey institute in California. Selena and Chef take Malibu. And today's first looks feature Selena Gomez hanging at the beach with family and friends in the trailer to the 4th season of Selena and Chef. Gomez brings her hit cooking show to Malibu, California to take on new challenges and prepare dishes with the help of all-star chefs. It premieres on HBO Max August 18th. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
I don't know if I'd be happy to see that chef at my door. You call this food? It's not food. That's not a British accent, I know, but you get my drift. That's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a baby hippo born at the Cincinnati Zoo. And that's actually a panda. But tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have the hippo for you, okay? Enjoy tonight's panda. We'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.